Hi, this is Stephanie Dale from the Homefront. Tonight I'm doing a little bit of canning. I'm canning some pumpkin, and I wanted to walk you through the process. First, you take your pumpkin. It's usually a sweet pumpkin or a pie pumpkin. Sometimes they're called a sugar pumpkin. There's different names for them, but that's the ideal type of pumpkin that you want to use. So you take those and you're going to gut it. So you cut the top off and you take the seeds out and you scrape it clean. And you can take those seeds and you can turn them into toasted pumpkin seeds if you want to save them. Or you can just let them air dry and save the seeds for planting for next year. But once you've done that, cut the pumpkin into chunks and then you're going to steam it. Now you can roast it in the oven, or you can steam it, or you can cook it in the microwave for a little bit, or you can boil it. I prefer steaming it, and you'll see why in just a minute. Besides the fact that it saves a little bit on power over the oven, of course the most power efficient method I guess would be the microwave. But once you're done steaming it, which I do for 7 to 9 minutes, you bring it over to your cutting board or cutting area, and you're going to score the pumpkin. You're going to cut through, not through the peel, but through the meat, in 1-inch squares, or an approximation of 1-inch squares. And then you peel it, the pumpkin off, like that. If it doesn't peel off, what you can do is you can take a knife and you can run it along the bottom and just lightly cut it off. So it doesn't have to be perfectly done. It can be a little bit underdone, and you can use that trick with the knife and that'll work just fine. And then when you're done doing that, then you put your cubed pumpkin into jars. I'm using pint jars because 3 cups of pureed pumpkin is going to make a large pie and a small pie. So 1 pint of cubed up pumpkin is about what I need to make 1 large pie. Maybe with a little bit left over, but that's a safe bet for 1 large pie, so that's what I shoot for. Then once you have your jars loaded up with 1 inch of headspace, you're going to put some liquid in the jars. The liquid that I use for the pumpkins comes from the liquid that results from steaming the pumpkins. So see that liquid down there? It's heating up right now. That's the liquid I'm going to put back into the jars for when I pressure cook the pumpkin. I'm going to scoop up some of this hot liquid with this sterilized container and add it to the jar. And you're shooting for 1 inch of headspace. You don't want to put too much in there. Once you get the amount of liquid you need in the jars, you need to go through and make sure you get all the air bubbles out. See that right there? That's an air bubble. We need to get that out. So I'm going to use this, I don't even know what it's called, a lid lifter or something. It's from Presto. It's got a magnet on one end. You can lift lids out of hot water with it without burning your finger. And you can use this end of it to remove air bubbles from things like pumpkin. You just stick it down in there. You're going to tap it here and there until the air bubbles are gone. And then you get the lids, which are over here simmering. Not boiling, but simmering. And you can use this fancy tool to fetch yourself a lid. Next, we're going to wipe the rims with a sterile cloth. Make sure there's no chunks of pumpkin. They can get on there and they harden up and they'll impede the seal of the lid. So you want to wipe them, make sure it's sterile. I'll dunk it in here again. This is sterile water. And wipe the rims. After 55 minutes have come and gone, unload your canner and you'll have a batch of perfectly canned cubed pumpkin. If you look really close, you can see everything's still bubbling. One of these pints should be more than enough to make a good sized pie. You might ask yourself, what am I going to do with this pumpkin peel? It's got a little bit of meat left on it, not too much. Here's what you can do with it. You can take this pumpkin peel and you can put it in a sack. And you can take it out to your chickens and feed it to your chickens because it's nice and soft and they'll eat it. Or if you know someone who has chickens, you can give it to them. Or if you don't know anyone that has chickens and you don't have your own chickens, you can compost it and add it to your garden later.